In this video, let's take a sneak peek at Gnss averaging. This is a project we worked on starting earlier this year. This client wants to build on Lot 9. So we were out there with Gnss using an RTK network and picked up the lot corners out here. The neighbors to the south here are currently building, and so there's some additional work they want on sight lines and these boundary lines here. And so we went out and picked up these corners again using RTK. So we now have two observations for each of these property corners, and we're going to use Gnss averaging to improve the accuracy of those. So we feel a little bit better about using those for control. So let's take a look real quick here, if we could, at the traverses. Here's the information we brought in back in March. Let's open that up. There's a new RTK format we use in Traverse PC. So it displays the RMS values, it displays the PDOP, the count, and there's some additional information we can put in there, time and date, like that. So these are the points we picked up initially, and we use that to calibrate that local survey to the CRS used by the GNSS. And then we went back out recently then and worked on Lot 9 and reshot some of these same points. And you'll notice I'm using the same point numbers, and we're going to see how that fits in here in just a moment. And these are the points we want to average. So I'll just leave this open for you here. So I'm going to use the new tool, Gnss Averages. First thing that pops up is a dialog box that says, how do you want to relate additional shots? So I'm going to tell it, I want to just use the point label. So I shot it initially as G761. I went out and shot it again as G761. There's lots of options depending on what data collector you use. And I'm just going to do the averages for the points in this traverse here. When I choose OK, I'm going to see this new averages dialog. Let me bring that over here. And Traverse PC then, for each of these 5 points that I selected, lists all the observations. So you can see that I use the same point label, but I have a different time and date for those. And Traverse PC has used those to compute an average position. This is not the same position as I currently have for these points in the survey. So notice the decimal on the northing for G761 is 372. If we come over here to the northing for that same point, it's 315. So I can come into Traverse PC and I can say, you know what, I can pick outliers, I can reject an observation if I want, or I can accept those observations. This one had a PDOP value that's a little bit higher, so let's leave that one rejected. The rest of them all look good. Of course, we provide ways for you to identify GNSS outliers by RMS values, PDOP values, and these differences. And I'm going to tell Traverse PC, in addition to being able to export or report those, I just want to update those points. So it has updated those 5 points. And I want you to notice here that I've rejected that observation in this traverse. So if I come over to that traverse, see how the strike through is here? And I can tell Traverse PC that I want to continue to leave that one rejected and not include it, or I can come back and include it anytime. But now Traverse PC has assigned these average values to those points in the survey. And I've now increased the accuracy just by averaging GNSS observations.